Coming up on this episode of Two Right Turns, a Clemson football podcast, 3 super guests. We've got Will Shipley, KJ Henry, and Jeremiah Trotter Jr. of the Philadelphia Eagles. We talk about their Super Bowl parade, their success this postseason, looking back at their time at Clemson, and we hit the mailbag. The next episode of Two Right Turns starts now.
They take those 2 right turns, and when they make the final turn, they can begin to hear the crowd and the noise of the open end of the stadium.
Here it is, the most exciting 25 seconds in college football.
Hey, welcome inside Studio C of the Clemson Athletics Branding Institute. My name is Ross Taylor, and this is another edition of the Two Right Turns, a Clemson football podcast. And I'm joined today virtually by 3, let's say, super guests. If you guys wouldn't mind, let us know your name, your position, who you are applying your craft for professionally right now, and where you're joining us from.
Oldest first, KJ.
Love that. KJ Henry, defensive end for the Philadelphia Eagles, joining you right outside my barbershop in Philadelphia. I'm about to get this fresh haircut.
Will Shipley, running back for the Philadelphia Eagles, and I am joining you from my parents' home back in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Yeah, Jeremiah Trotter Jr., linebacker for the Philadelphia Eagles, and I'm back home in New Jersey.
Yeah, so clearly a theme to this. We have 3 Super Bowl 59 champions from the Philadelphia Eagles joining us. Look, you know, we former players are kind of like kids with parents, right? Like, you don't have favorites, but I'll be damned if I haven't been smiling all day knowing that I'm going to be able to chat with you guys again. It's really good to see y'all's faces again, hear y'all's voices, and obviously the amount of excitement here in the upstate and in Clemson in particular about what you guys did in your season was incredible to watch and feel, and I'm hoping that you guys felt that as well. So I'll ask very generally, you know, what have the last few weeks been like? Obviously, your GM came out of the parade bleeding. You know, any crazy stories or injuries or anything from the parade we need to know about from you guys?
I guess I'll start off, but like you mentioned, our GM, he did get a little bruise, a little war scar from that parade. It was pretty crazy. You know, the fans showed out, you know, brought a lot of energy, but I think the beer cans were something that thrown at us was something that you have to keep your head on the swivel. So my dad was on the boat with me, or on the bus with me. So we kind of like stood back to back and watching both sides, trying to protect each other.
I mean, has it sunk in for you guys yet?
For me, I was actually right behind Howie when it happened. You know, my fiance and I were sitting there, and we just kind of see Howie get down like in almost like he was shot, you know. But that's how those beer cans were flying in. You know, they were throwing them full tilt. And at the end of the day, they were just trying to help everybody out and you know, give somebody else another beer can. But you know, definitely not the best aim out there. So I think they caught a couple stragglers. I know Coop got one above the eye too, and there was definitely some more in there. So yeah, it was hectic, but I mean that parade was something special for sure.
No, that was insane. I was on the same bus as Trotter. And yeah, like they've all said, just not even beer cans, Jello shots, like probably anything that you can close in a container and throw up that's filled with alcohol was like just flying all over. So that was a scene, just music, like hundreds of thousands of people just had a chance to like see us. Like that just lets you know how like crazy, like passionate these fans are up here. And it was awesome. It was awesome, dude.
Yeah, and how fortunate you guys are to have gone from a place with so much passion here to another place where, I mean, it's so ingrained in the culture out there. It's incredible. You know, 3 young guys relatively early in your NFL careers. I mean, 2 of you get Super Bowls in your rookie year, KJ in your second. I'm sure you all had a lot of thoughts about what the NFL and what pro ball was going to be like before you made it. But what would you tell a younger version of yourself, or as we're taping this right now, we've got 6 guys at the NFL Scouting Combine. What would you tell them about making that transition, and were there any surprises in that process for you?
Yeah, I think for me, you know, one, Clemson deserves a huge shout out just for how prepared they made all of us for the movement from college to NFL. And then also just being so lucky to get picked by an organization such as the Philadelphia Eagles, who, I feel like is run very similarly to Clemson. Got great leadership, and they just really care about the players and in every facet, on the football field, in the lunchroom, off the field. They help you out with really anything you need. So, any advice that I would give to some of the guys going through that process right now, some of my best friends from my years at Clemson, would just be to give it all you got. Never leave any stone unturned, and just be able to look back and say, I didn't leave anything on the table. And if you're able to do that, I think that God has a special way of ordaining things and putting you in the right place. For me to be here, a Super Bowl champion with Trot and KJ, two guys who I feel like I've had the luxury to grow very close with, has been special. So just never leave any stone unturned, and just give it all you got, and everything will shake out how it's supposed to.
I'd say it's going to be different. Everybody has their different paths, their different experiences. So it's hard to generalize like this is what the league is like. This is what's new. What I try and tell younger guys, and me still being a relatively younger guy, is just like it's still football. You know what I'm saying? There's definitely, as Ship alluded to in one of his earlier interviews in the week, like it's still a business side to this thing, but once you get out there on the grass, put the cleats on, man, it's still ball. And I think, taking a roll back, being on practice squad this year and getting to see Ship and Trot ball out, like that's what I could see in them, which I just loved, rooting them on for. Was just like they knew it was still ball, man. So that'd be, on top of, like Ship said, just thanking Clemson for preparing us. That'd be what I tell the guys is just, through the combine, through all the trainings and the this, that, and the third, like, once you get your name called and you know where you're going, just lock back in and knowing it's still football, and that's all that matters at the end of the day, man. So definitely happy to be in the fight now and a couple years into this thing.
Oh, yeah. I definitely would, say the same thing that, Will and KJ were saying as far as, how Clemson prepared us. And at the end of the day, it's just football. The guys that we have, between Jake, Marcus, Barrett, I know they're prepared. Those guys are in that position just because of what they did at Clemson and the way Clemson prepared them. So they're going to get in the lead. They're going to keep doing their same routines, maybe tweak it a little bit, just like wherever they end up at. But I know those guys are prepared just like the way that Clemson prepared us, and they're going to get out on the field and just, do what they do, which is just play football. And we've been doing that, and they've been doing that their whole lives. So.
Well, and I want to talk to the three of you a little bit about your individual journeys. And Jeremiah, I'll start with you. I mean, it's not any secret, and it's very well covered. I mean, in effect, you kind of fulfilled a family legacy in raising a Lombardi Trophy and doing it in Philadelphia, obviously being the son of a multi-time Pro Bowler and Eagles Hall of Famer. But one thing that I always found interesting, like if I were you, I don't know, I might have reached a point at some point where I would have been sick about talking about it. Like, hey, let me talk about me. I'm not just my father's son, but you always seem to take so much pride in being his son. And there was a great photo that he posted right after the game of him lifting you up in his arms on the field. Got a big smile on your face. Has it ever been hard kind of having to follow in that legacy? And what was that moment like after the game?
For me, as far as regarding your first question, like, answering those questions, talking about, my dad's legacy and talking about him. For me, it's never been hard, but just because of the type of person I am, I honestly don't like the spotlight being on me. I'd rather talk about my teammates, rather, praise other people. Even when I'm getting celebrated, I got like awards over the years. I got, like, I just don't like being in that spotlight. But, I just thank God. I try to, give praise to God first and then try to praise other people, because I know personally I wouldn't be here without God and the help of friends, family, over the years, coaches that, had taught me and guided me throughout the years. And then just talking about your second question, with the feeling after the Super Bowl, that was definitely a great moment, a great experience I had, with him on the field. Just being back there, I think they said it was like 20 years later after they were there. And, he was out there on the same, at the same stage, and wasn't able to, experience a win. But just being out there with his son, he said he would trade his Super Bowl experience or like the wins that he got, it'd be just for me to be able to win one. He just told me how proud he was, and it was definitely a great feeling.
Well, it was great to see that. You could see the pride on his face too, which was really cool and echoed by a lot of us, obviously, who are proud of you in a very different sense as well. Will, I want to talk to you. I mean, obviously, we have the three of you on by virtue of what you all and your team accomplished in the Super Bowl, but we can't talk Will Shipley without talking the NFC Championship game, right? So 4 carries, 77 yards. You rip off a 57-yarder. You score the touchdown. You have a forced fumble in the game. Look, like no one feels bad for the NFL guy, but it's sometimes it's hard being the third running back or the sixth wide receiver or whatever it is on the 53-man roster. It is not there's not a whole lot of glory in it. And for you to have this whole season contribute, obviously what the Eagles did in the running back room has been very highly talked about and for good reason. But for you to have that moment, especially on a stage like that, what was the NFC Championship like for you?
Yeah, I think you described it perfectly in terms of just it being so special, and kind of to allude to what Trot said is, and something that Coach Sirianni really instilled in us, especially in the back half of the season, was you can't be great without the greatness of others, and that's truly how I see it. You put everything you got into this game, and like you said, sometimes being a little behind on the depth chart, being behind somebody like Saquon Barkley and Kenny Gainwell, just two great backs who have experience under their belt and who can go out there and do their thing. It was definitely a perspective shift for me, to go from being what I was at Clemson to being running back 3 and having to play all special teams, being a 4-core guy. But I learned so much and I grew so much this season from it. And I feel like I gave everything I had. And that was my goal, is to go out there and get better at the things that maybe don't get praised. Like the advice that I said earlier, to leave every stone unturned, or to not leave any stone unturned. I feel like I did that, and God just ordained it perfectly for me. I was just doing my job. I was doing my assignment. The forced fumble, I was just scared that I was going to not have outside leverage, and it ended up being a forced fumble, changing the momentum. Same thing with the runs. I was just trying to make sure that the timing between me and the tight end, the pulling tight end, was good. And then, a seam opens up and I'm able to break a long run. And, it just goes back to doing what you can when you have the ability to do it. And, if that leads to a big opportunity, then so be it. And if it doesn't lead to any opportunity at all, then so be it. And that's the beautiful part of this game, is you give everything you have, not knowing what's going to come from it.
Yeah, and then KJ, for you, these guys come in, they get a championship in their first year. They think this is easy and this is the way it's supposed to go every single year. But your journey is more akin to a lot of guys in the NFL. Middle to late round draft pick, drafted in Washington a year earlier. Have some good success down the stretch of your first year. They try to sneak you through to practice squad the next year, but you get claimed by Cincinnati, a stint in Dallas, land in Philadelphia. So 4 teams through 2 years, and then you run into your former team in the NFC Championship game we're talking about. How did the journey that you've had so far through 2 years affect how you experienced the success this postseason?
Man, just hearing you say it all back to me, it's like, that's been my life the last 2 years. Like, it is like, it's been so crazy, but it's just been a blessing, man. It really has. Like, even from the time of, being on stage with these guys and the confetti flying and holding the trophy, to getting a call, and then multiple calls, as you said, and it's like, we're gonna have to let you go, put you on practice squad, whatever it may be. I'm content in knowing my faith hasn't wavered. It's not always been something that I picture for myself in the first 2 years, knowing what I'm capable of doing. But whole time, it's a strong belief in knowing that God has something bigger and greater for me. And that belief obviously reigned true with being able to hold up the trophy. But yeah, man, it's just been trying to figure it out, and really just like I said earlier, just knowing that football's football and whatever capacity it is. So whether it's, getting sacks in my rookie year on the back half of the season, Whether it's getting guys ready and talking junk to Ship every week because I'm making sure that he's mentally prepared for the game. Like, as long as I'm getting a chance to put on the helmet, put on the cleats, and go out there and work on my craft, I know another opportunity is going to pop up for me, and I know I'm going to be ready for it. So if there was any team where I had to kind of take a step back, help cheer on some of my teammates, and just continue to develop, I wouldn't want it to be any other than this one. So still grateful to be in the fight, and grateful to do it with these guys, man. And it's just been awesome. It's been an awesome journey, and excited to keep it going.
We all talked about it a little bit when you were talking about how Clemson prepared you for where you are now. Former Secretary of Defense Donald Rumsfeld once had a famous line about the unknown unknowns, right? The things that you don't know that you don't know. And I'm curious, now that you all have been in the NFL, you've talked to players who have played all over the country and come from different programs. Is there something maybe about your college football experience that stands out as different from your NFL teammates, or maybe something that you didn't appreciate as much until you left Clemson and went to the next level?
Yeah, I think for me, I feel like it's kind of known. KJ alluded to it earlier, but it just truly is a business once you get to the NFL. And it was something that was so special about our Eagles team this year, is I feel like that chemistry and that bond really was special. Obviously, Trot and I are just rookies, so this was the first team that we've been a part of. But just hearing the other guys talk about how special the chemistry was and our bonds were. But even with that being said, it's not the same as college ball. You go in there, and at the end of the day, people are going back to their families. They got people that they got to provide for, and kids they got to take care of. And in college, with the exception of a few, you really are, when practice is done, you're going back home with your roommates, your teammates, and you're just able to chill on the couch and shoot the crap with the guys and enjoy that. So I think with kind of understanding that's what was going to come with moving on from college to the NFL, it still kind of hits you. And, you don't get that same time that you did in college. You're not able to create that same chemistry and bond with the guys because you just don't spend as much time with them outside of the locker room, outside of the field.
No, that's great feedback.
The lens that I get to see it from for sure is like Ship alluded to it, how it's just a business. I mean, it's different for me just getting to see guys being on both ends of it. Just one day, like you said, we're not all hanging out after practice or whatnot. So you have to really go out your way to book position dinners each week, or team events, position events, whatever. And then depending on how teams want to do the roster, some of your friends, however it may be, your teammates that you've been chilling with all year, just like that, they're gone the next day, and you don't really hear from them. So I'd say, what's cool, and I'd probably say this is for most of college, but I know definitely from Clemson, just hearing from Coach Sweeney the other day, it's just like, once those things happen, whether you leave a team or whether someone leaves a team that you were cool with, you just don't hear from them a lot. It's like leaving Clemson, it's like, even though I wasn't playing with them, I checked on shit. You know what I'm saying? I've hit up Trot, when we swapping jerseys or whatever, and I've heard from Coach Sweeney. So it's just cool to know at least we come from a program where players and coaches still connect and communicate. And I know that's the case for a lot of schools in college, but that's definitely not the case for the NFL. And so that kind of leads you into take care of my business, you know what I'm saying? Because while everybody is, hoping for success at this level, once you kind of go on your own path and you're doing your own thing, there's only so many people that are going to check in on you or communicate with you when this is all said and done. And I know that's one thing personally that I just love about college ball, and especially attending Clemson for sure.
Yeah, KJ and Ship, they took the words right out of my mouth. The biggest change is that business side. Like KJ said, there was times like in camp or at OTAs, like there'd be guys in either the linebacker room or other rooms that you get really cool with. You cracking jokes, when you guys are around, and then just like that, they're out of there. But I feel like in college, when the team, if they're on the team, they're on the team. They may not be on scholarship or things like that, but they're still on the team. They're still going to be around. and nobody has the fear of being cut. They're still going to be around the team. So I definitely say, that's the biggest part of it, the biggest change. But I still feel like, the blessing to go to the Eagles, because I feel like the Eagles, even though I haven't experienced, other NFL teams, I would put Clemson up there as far as how they treat their players and prepare people, and how they really preach, building that team chemistry, whether it's, going to Lake Day, stuff like that. I feel like the Eagles, that's something that they preached. Whether we would play ping pong in our like game room, in the locker room, just different things to build that chemistry. So I feel like the Eagles definitely try to do better at that.
Well, we've got to take a quick pit stop here. We're going to play a little Fast Facts thanks to our friends at Darlington Raceway. And so I got a little bit of trivia, and this first one's mainly going to be for Ship and Trotter, because there are 5 players from your recruiting class in 2021 that scored at least one touchdown of 50-plus yards during their Clemson careers. Can y'all name all 5?
Well, I mean, Will is definitely one of those.
Yeah.
Will's one.
Me, Maffa.
Yep. 2 for 2.
In our class. Nate Wiggins.
Good pull.
Yeah.
98 yards against North Carolina.
Trying to think any other defenders, Trot, that had your pick sixes were.
You said 50 plus?
I'm glad this is
50
y'all's
plus.
question. I don't even know who's in y'all's question.
Mine were only like 20 yards.
Yeah.
Boo.
No more running backs, so
You got to go wide receivers.
quarterbacks.
Who's the wide receivers in y'all's class?
Will Taylor,
Bo Collins?
Bo Collins is one.
Bo
And
Collins.
then there's one guy y'all are missing.
Okay.
Jake Redishall? Maybe high ball?
Not Jake. Not Jake.
Okay.
Got in the end zone a ton, but never 50-plus.
Wait, was Payne's 50?
Peyton
Stop
Page,
it.
57 years. So whenever you guys came in that 2021 recruiting class, obviously this is the NCAA, we wouldn't want to bet on it. But had there been some discussion of, all right, who are the 5 guys in the room that are going to score from 50-plus? Would you guys have put a whole lot of money on Peyton Page when y'all walked in the door here?
It's so funny because I think KJ sent me that, or he put it on his story or something, and I responded to it. I was like, no way in hell I would have ever guessed getting into the end zone, much less from 50 yards out. Much less. Oh, that's awesome.
So, yeah, I figured we'd have a little bit of fun with that recruiting cast. That was one of my favorite kind of hidden notes from last year, is that he joined that list. So thanks to our friends from Darlington Raceway for allowing me to bring that up. That segment was presented by Darlington Raceway. Be a part of the track's 75th anniversary and the official throwback weekend of NASCAR. Log on to darlingtonraceway.com for your tickets to the track that's too tough to tame. It's fun for everyone. Now, back to Two Right Turns. We also wanted to dip in the mailbag a little bit. We're trying to make sure that we're being efficient with y'all's time, because we really appreciate you making time for us. And so we had fans submit some questions for the 3 of y'all, and we'll try to buzz through these here pretty quickly. The first is probably the most important question, and that is, does Will still rock the Nike Air Monarchs?
Yes.
Oh my God. Yeah. I got them in my closet. I'm waiting for the new colorways. I don't think they're ever gonna come out with them. But I got my red and black ones. I got my regular ones. I've got some lime green ones now, and the blue ones as well. So yeah, I still got them all in my closet, ready to go for whenever.
Well, and you said you're engaged too, so you're really kind of getting the dad core thing going, which, as a father of 2 young kids, I appreciate.
Exactly.
This is for any of you, and loaded question, but night game in the Valley or playoff game in the Link?
Right.
We know the answer. Just saying.
I love my Clemson fans. It's just 2 different types of energy that we bring. Clemson, you go get hype, you go get the energy. Philly fans a little bit more crazy. I like that craziness that the Philly fans bring to their type of energy, but I might have to say the playoff game in the Link.
Man, it's 100% play. Trot's nice. I'm gonna spit it like it is. It's 100%, and that has nothing to do with Clemson fans and everything to do with. It's a whole lot more alcohol consumption happening in these Philly stands. All right, and during a playoff game, that thing was electric. And that's coming from someone I've played in night games in the Valley, and I ain't played in a playoff game. So, yeah, from someone who was just witnessing, getting to watch these boys do what they do, there's nothing like that in the world, bro. That's number one. Close second is that Valley, but that's number one, dude.
Yeah, I think I'm a third there too. I just think the magnitude of the moment, it being a playoff game, and then everything else that they said, it's special in the link. Not to say that it ain't special in the Valley. I think there's also a little recency bias there. We had three playoff games in the link, and they were all electric. So yeah.
Well, hey, I've done PR and been on the field at both places. I will say this. There's a reason that there's a sign that says Clemson welcomes you to Death Valley that is on Memorial Stadium. And Clemson fans, and I love this about them, they want visiting fans to come in and they want Clemson to be their second favorite team. They want them to have a great experience, but they want Clemson to beat the absolute tar out of them, right? There is no Philadelphia welcomes you to Lincoln Financial Field anywhere on that stadium. Yeah. So two great environments that you all have been fortunate to play in. This is for any of the three of you. Is there one Clemson game from your careers that you find yourself reminiscing on the most?
For me, the first one that always comes to mind is just, Florida State, our freshman year, Trot, in the Valley. I don't think it was a night game. I think it was a mid-afternoon game. But yeah, that was probably one of the most special moments from my college career. So that'll always be one that sticks to me, and for sure, Florida State, my freshman year in the Valley.
I'm gonna go NC State top 10 matchup that night game, man, at home in the Valley. That was fun. That's probably my number one. That's what I think about a lot, and just like having that top 10 matchup with a team that I have no problem saying do not like at all. And to be able to just kill the noise that they could even mess with us, that was fun. That one was fun.
For me, I'd probably say the ACC championship game, that being the championship that we got. I thought that ended being a night game. Both sides of the ball just dominating. I feel like on defense we were playing great. They got a long pick six. I think he might have pulled something on it, but he got a long pick six. Cade just throwing bombs down the field. The offense is going off. I feel like that was a great game for me. So one that I really remember.
That was a fun one for sure. So, all right, we're kind of running up against the buzzer, so I'm going to try to squeeze one more in here if I can. We mentioned as we're taping this, the NFL Scouting Combine is going on. This episode is going to drop the day after Pro Day. And then obviously we head into draft season, and just thinking about that process for the three of you guys and thinking about those memories. I distinctly remember the video of KJ's dad coming down in the jersey of the team that drafted him. I distinctly remember probably my most vivid memory of last year's draft is seeing the video of Eagles owner Jeffrey Lurie on the phone with Jeremiah, almost in tears, talking about how proud he was to draft him, and memories of your late mother, Tammy, obviously. And is there something about that whole process, scouting combine, pro day, draft, a memory that really sticks out for each of you guys?
Yeah, for me, it was, I was sitting there on the couch, day 3, it had really just started, and I think everyone expects their phone to ring a little earlier than it does sometimes, so I'm sitting there, and obviously for people that don't know, my brother attended UPenn in Philly for 5 years and played lacrosse there. So, when I felt my phone buzzing and my brother was sitting right next to me and we looked at it and it was Philadelphia, PA, I think that was just one of the most special moments that I'll always carry with me, because my brother's a role model for me and just someone I always look up to and love spending time with. So, that's a moment we'll carry together forever for sure.
Go ahead, Trot.
For me, I definitely bring it back to that phone call when I got it. I was in West Virginia at the time. My brother's spring game, and I got the call, and it's kind of just surreal. Just talking to Mr. Laurie and Howie. And then like just telling my dad, I remember, telling him he like broke down in tears. I was like, I basically said, once I got off the phone, I was like, man, I'm staying home. And, he broke down in tears, and my dad didn't cry a lot. So it's definitely emotional for him, emotional for me. And just like my phone just started blowing up, just Philly fans and just seeing that go through and text from, friends and family. But I think that the dude that announced it, the video of him, announcing my name, really just shows the kind of love that the Philly fans show me. I just really appreciate them for that.
I'm not gonna follow that up with another phone call on draft day because I know better. But that was a good one. But for me, mine, so funny. It's simply gonna be pro day, not participating, but being the blocking bag for J-Mac. That's just something I'll never forget. I didn't see that being like on my pro day bingo card. But obviously, had tweaked my hamstring in the combine, and just being out there, just doing essentially one-on-ones with J-Mac one more time in front of the entire NFL. I really thought that like maybe it shows how tough I was, but it might have lost me some points. Just J-Mac 10 off on me on pro day. But no, that was so much fun. And I just think that was like just a funny memory that I'll probably never forget when it comes to like that process.
Well, and J-Mac can lean on you now that he knows the waiver claim life, as he went from L.A. to Chicago in January or whatever it is. So I'm sure he had to purchase a new coat as that happened. So,
no doubt.
Guys, we really appreciate your time. We're so thrilled about y'all's success. Obviously the 40-plus players that Clemson has in the NFL, soon to be joined by more. We're proud of all of them, but to see the three of you succeed this postseason has been a great joy. And I say that as someone who grew up in Dallas for 18 years and then spent 7 years with a different team in the NFC East. Y'all kind of had me whistling "Fly Eagles Fly" around the house. Just my excitement for you all. And as I shot y'all a text after the Super Bowl, there's no guarantee in life that good things happen for good people, but damn if life isn't better when it does, right? And so just so happy, so thrilled for the three of you guys. And any final message y'all have for Clemson fans as we hop off here?
Love y'all. Appreciate you so much. I'll always be a Tiger at heart, and I'll always cheering the boys on for sure.
Excited for the season, baby. Here comes that run for the Natty, and we're gonna be front and center, cheering the folks on, man. Always love being a Tiger.
Oh yeah, just love you guys. I appreciate all the support throughout my years there. Can't wait to see what the season holds, and I'm waiting for that Natty so I can talk trash. When the playoffs come around, my teammates.
And I don't think people fully appreciate, man, like that matters in NFL locker rooms, like on the training room table, in the locker room, eating lunch. Like it's not man, I just went to school there, whatever. Like that trash talk is real. And so you guys have some NFL trash talk, I guess, that you can do after this past season. And just know the boys are back here working hard to make sure we're looking after you in all those discussions and group chats as well.
No doubt, baby. Yeah. No doubt.
Love it.
Appreciate y'all.
I appreciate you, Ross.
Thank you.
All right, guys. So this is going to wrap us up from Studio C of the Clemson Athletics Branding Institute, as well as from parking lots and houses in Pennsylvania and homes in North Carolina. So make sure you like and subscribe. Be on the lookout for the next episode of Two Right Turns, a Clemson football podcast.